I've already got one bucket in here. That is the floor tile I'm going with. I'll probably do some green tiles for the walls. Yeah, I've got this PVC liner water tested already, and the drain is installed and sealed to the PVC liner, and then this deck mud is going down, and this is what's actually going to give me my, so I've already got a pre-slope under there with the mortar I did a little while back, probably a couple months ago now. But yeah, basically the thin set and then the tiles go on top of this after it cures. And this allows the moisture, it's called a water in, water out system. And basically the tile sheds most of the water, but mortar or the grout is porous and moisture can get through that. And I think it can get through some types of tile. Just like a little bit of moisture can. So when that moisture gets through, it's supposed to seep through this bed or this deck mud and go into the weep holes of the drain, which are down below this, which I took some gravel and you put that around the drain to protect the weep holes from getting clogged with this. But yeah, so I'm gonna do, it's a 1/4 inch slope per foot. Yeah, I think doing an even slope is the way to go. So this stuff takes a while to cure, and it's very like moldable. I was about to ball it up, but you're supposed to be able to make like basically like a baseball sized ball out of it. I just had it all over my hands, so I'm not gonna dig around in it again until I'm done mixing. But yeah, so I think one more bucket will do. I bought 3 bags and I'll just have to return one. But yeah, this is going pretty well. And then I also went ahead and got my backer board. So I was gonna do concrete backer board or cement backer board like this, which I will use that still for the floor in there, I think. But this Go board is a waterproof, or yeah, completely waterproof foam backer board. So it's super light. I mean, you can literally pick it up with one hand. And that's gonna make it a lot easier to install, and you can just cut it with a razor knife instead of having to use like a saw. But yeah, that's fully waterproof. So it's a little weird because I'm doing 2 different systems. So I've got the old school method for the shower pan, and then I'm using like that new style backer board. So basically I'll have to use either this sealant, I gotta look and see if it needs to be a silicone or a polymer based sealant, or the Go board sealant, which is in that bag. And I'll basically leave like a 1/4 inch gap underneath my backer board. Obviously it'll come down below my pan, but it'll be about a 1/4 inch above this deck mud, and that gap there is going to be where I can run a bead of sealant. And then when I build my concrete curb here, I'll also leave a gap. I'll stick some foam in there or something and leave a gap and fill that with a bead of sealant. And that basically creates a like a moisture barrier. So it keeps the moisture from wicking off of the bottom, the pan, up into the foam backer board, or just whatever material you use. And that's the method they do with the cement backer board too, but this way I'm not going to have to float the walls, so that is going to save me quite a bit of time. I also think doing this shape shower would be kind of hard to float, because you'd have to get like this little section here. I don't know, that might be easy, I don't know. I've never done it, but I think the Go board is going to be a lot easier, because once it's up I can seal it with that sealant there on all the seams and the fasteners, and then it's ready to tile. And then once this cures, it's also ready to tile. So I'm very, very close to be putting some thin set and tile down. But basically I have these points in the corners, and each of those are tapped down into the deck mud, and they are level with the 2 tiles stacked on the drain. So basically, if once I remove those, then that's 1/2 inch lower than these, obviously, the drain would be. And that allows me to screed the deck mud down. I cut some scrap hardwood with a notch, which I actually only need the notch on one end. So that was a little extra cutting I didn't need to do. But I have it notched to go on the drain, and basically I'll use those to screed 1/4 inch lower than the drain so that the tile sits flush with the drain. And then let's see, yeah, so then the tile, where those tiles are is actually 1/4 inch lower than where the tiles will be. I've probably said that. I'm thinking through it and probably not explaining it very well, but those just give me a reference point and make it so that the whole thing is even around the edges. So these are all level with each other, and yeah, now I can screed them off the drain, and that'll give me my slope that the tile will actually sit on top of. So yeah, I only used 2 buckets, and I dumped both of them in there and then had to pull back out about a half a bucket there. And I think I'm still a little high in the middle. So I'll probably would have only needed like a bucket and a quarter, or a bag and a quarter. They're 55-pound bags, so that'll be a little bit wasted, but and they're like $20 a bag too, but at least I get to return one. Okay, this is how she looks in her current state. I just finished screeding it, and it is obviously 1/4 inch plus or minus, hopefully plus a little for the thin set. 1/4 inch below the drain there, and then this is a 3/4 inch slope to each corner. That's my 2-inch drain line. Drill up into that and then go through the attic, through the roof. But that's gonna be a dry vent for the sink. I'll have a sand T connection right about there or so. There's a code on where that's supposed to be. And then it's gonna go down. It's the drain for the sink. And then we're gonna have a Y connection, 2-inch drain from the shower. Those are going to connect up, and then that will be the wet vent for the shower. And then it's going to connect over here from a 4 to 2 Y connection, and that's the main line to the septic. And then all of that will also serve as a dry vent for the toilet. So, or wet vent, sorry. Wet vent for the toilet, wet vent for the shower, and then dry vent for the sink. And then whenever I do my plumbing for the kitchen, there will be a dry vent in there that will connect up in the attic to these. So, okay, quick update. I pulled this line back out because it's got to be longer. It has to be like 21 inches above the floor in there. I think I'm gonna have to cut that and make that one longer too. I'll just use those somewhere else. But it's not all up right now because none of it's glued, but I had all the drains roughed in, or just the one for the lab and the shower. And then I got all the angles right for doing my 4 to 2 connection, but obviously I haven't cut the 4-inch yet. This isn't exactly where it's gonna be just yet. It's just in a hanger down there. and sitting on that block, so it's gonna be a little higher and the angle will be a little bit like that. So I measured that, and yeah, so all that's pretty much, I think I have I think maybe 2 more cuts to make. I've got some other sticks of 2-inch. So yeah, so I'll have that probably all glued up and stuff tomorrow, hopefully. I was thinking I needed to do this before doing my plumbing so that flange would be at the right height, which is true, but I also would need to put the tile down to have the flange on top of the tile, I'm pretty sure. That may be for a different type of flange, but I think that applies for that flange too. So I'm gonna look into that. But either way, this has to be done. So yeah, the concrete backer board for the floor in here. I may be able to get that piece and this piece out of one. I've got 2 more sheets of this, but maybe able to get that out of one. Kind of looks like it. But yeah, anyways, the deck mud has set up. I actually sanded it down on the mortar bed underneath it, the pre-slope. I kind of just smoothed it out with my hand while it was still a little wet. This one I did the same thing, and then once it cured even more, I actually took sandpaper to it to smooth it out, because I really want my tile to lay nice. It's got a little bit of waviness to it that you'll probably be able to feel, but most of that is because the angles are, it was really difficult to screed it evenly, because this distance here is different from that distance in this one. So they're kind of like different, they're different angled fans, but they all have the same slope. So then that would make the pitch different, I guess. It's the same height change between the drain and each corner, but then different distance. Yeah, so the angle is different. Okay, I have all my backer board pre-cut. A couple pieces right here, and then the piece there that gets the toilet flange. And I went ahead and put this tar paper like underlayment on the subfloor, and I wrapped my corners and everything, kind of trying to use sort of the same logic for how the shower pan is done. Oh, I also finished the backer board in here. I got my shower head installed. I don't know if I had the stub out in the last video. Niche is in, and the mixing valve, and got that plumbed up here. So I've got to put backer board here on this piece, and then I'm gonna wrap it around the corner, and that's all I'm gonna do for now. I'm probably gonna end up tiling the whole shower, wrapping this wall to here, and then at about this height, probably either the height of this blocking, or maybe up here, I don't know, I'll probably measure. I'll do a backsplash that's wrapped around the lav, and the tile will probably go to the floor next to the vanity on both sides, and then this will be like just a clean edge here, and then the rest will be drywall, toilet. But anyways, I'm trying to use kind of the same mentality you do with the shower pan, and a lot of people I were seeing, they were taking thin set mortar to put underneath their cement board, and they were just putting that straight on the subfloor, which I think is not a great idea. You don't want the wood to soak up the water out of your mortar, or else it won't cure properly. So I was thinking this would help. It should also keep any moisture that does get through the tile and maybe through the backer board from rotting out the subfloor. So this should be like a good extra protection. Okay, so I just got off work. The shower curb cured overnight. Yeah, so I got the cement backer board down on the floor in here on top of the tar paper the other day. And then it's got thin set underneath to help level it and keep it stuck down and just give it more. Actually, I don't really know why I did. I think it's to just add some rigidity. Maybe, I don't know that it has, maybe some waterproofing as well. I'm not sure, because I know the sealing the seams with the fiberglass tape and the thin set is helpful for waterproofing, I believe. Either way, that's the steps in the video that I watched, so that's what I did. They did not do the tar paper, but I think that will be a good, like, kind of long-term helpful thing for keeping any moisture from getting to the subfloor. And then I also got all of the joints sealed with the GoBoard sealant, GoBoard Pro sealant right there. So, and then also all of the fasteners are recessed into the board and sealed up as well. So yeah, I had to get that sealed up, then the floor done, and then I needed to get my shower curb done so that I can do the backer board here and here. And then once I do that, then I can start tiling. So that'll probably be tomorrow because I've got to go mow today. Okay, so as you can see, I tore down, well, I tore this little wall down and built a new door frame. I also went ahead and just completely stripped that wall down. You can see it kind of in the background of other clips. I didn't take any video of what was wrong with it really, but it had the two boxes for the old lights where the old vanity was. So I patched those up, and then the tar paper that was on there had a lot of like mold and stuff growing on it from where there was leaking water from the roof and from the bathroom fixtures and all that. So I went ahead and tore that off and cleaned the block wall, and then put new tar paper up with the corners all wrapped and everything. So that's basically just to seal any framing work and drywall from moisture that might wick through the concrete block. And so then I went ahead and put these 2x4s here on the wall. And those are not structural at all. They're just to attach the drywall to and to kind of frame out the window a little bit. And that'll keep, because I don't like putting the drywall directly on the tar paper, because I think that there's still some moisture that gets through. At least that seemed like it was an issue in the kitchen when I was doing demo. There wasn't really mold on the back of the drywall in here, but on, see, the kitchen wall over here, all that had tar paper on it. Actually, no, it didn't. It didn't. That was just drywall directly on the block. But either way, it can't hurt to also have a air, 1.5 inch air gap between the drywall. And then it's covered with tools right now, but I built the windowsill. So just cut the windowsill, got it mounted. So now I can frame out this window, or trim out this window. Also cleaned the window and put new caulk where it attaches to the frame there to hopefully keep the bugs out. But yeah, I can trim that out and then put drywall on this wall, and it doesn't get any electrical or plumbing run. So that's that. But you may have seen this already in this clip, but I am dry fitting my tile. I I didn't get the pattern perfectly centered on the drain, you know, and I've been looking at it, just doing it, and it hasn't bothered me. But now that I'm looking at the whole thing on the phone, that's kind of annoying. But, you know, it's whatever. I'm not gonna go back. That was so hard trying to get those curves in those tiny little tiles. When you clip them, when you clip the edges, it like just wants to shatter. So I've got like a box of Broken Dreams here. Yeah, anyways. So I'm dry fitting these and gonna dry fit the whole room, get all my cuts done for the entire bathroom floor, and then maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, I'll start putting my thin set down and laying these. Okay, here is the tile all roughed in, I guess. I've got everything cut in the shower. All the little pieces that go on the edge are already cut. They're just not laid in there. And then I've fitted the rest of the bathroom as well. So now I've just got to mix up my thin set. Well, I'm gonna pull all this out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna kind of pull up sections, put thin set down, put those sections down, and then pull these up. I might do it that way, or I might pull all of this out of here and like lay it out in another room on the floor in the same orientation. But I think that would take way too long, so you're probably gonna do the first method. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna have like a dark green tile in the shower, and I'm still unsure what color I'll paint the walls, but yeah, I think that'll turn out pretty nice. Okay, so I got my mortar mixed up, and I've actually already installed the shower floor tile. So that was pretty tedious. Honestly, most of the work I did yesterday was going through, dry fitting everything. Cutting the tiles around the drain was super hard to get them like that decent. In hindsight, I wish I would have adjusted everything to fit, to have the drain centered on the pattern, so that that tile, that tile, that tile, and that tile are all symmetrical. I think that would look a little better, but it's really not that noticeable. I think it looks pretty good. The nice thing, I dry fitted everything in here like you saw, and the tile pattern is actually going to line up, so the tiles should stay in line with the rest of the room, and I think that'll kind of look nice. With the light colored, you know, background, like with the walls not being like a dark color and stuff, I really don't think this tile looks that good. Like, if I had painted the walls light gray, this would look really bad. It's like clashes a lot, kind of hurts your head to look at, but I do like this independently, and I think it'll look really good with the dark green tile and whatever wall paint. I may just do like a white wall paint or like an off-white. But anyways, yeah, I got all of my little pieces set in around the edge, so glad to have that done. But yeah, all the little triangles there, all those are not part of the mosaic. I had to cut them all out. But yeah, not too bad. Now I just got to do the rest of the room, and then I'll probably still have a ton of thin set left over. So a little bit of waste. Probably should have only mixed up like half a bag to start with, but I was also going off of the square footage for the other trowel I've been using, not this one. So should have calculated for that, or accounted for that. But anyways, I got the toilet hole cut out of the tile, and what I did, I have it all laid out. Like, they're in stacks, but like this is where the vanity is, this is the line from the door, like the ones next to the shower curb in the bathroom floor are in there, and then like the toilet obviously, and then this is the big section where none of them are cut, and then these are the cut side pieces. So it's nice. I really didn't have to do much tile cutting. I had to cut those, but those I just was able to tear because I'm tiling under where the drywall is going to go, and so then the drywall will come out a 1/2 inch, and then baseboards. So the edges don't really have to be super precise or cut to fit. So that's pretty convenient. It's going to save me a little time. But yeah, let's get that in.
06 Avalon with 56,000 miles.
On ACV.
My phone died.
A real zinger. You almost had it. All right, so we just grouted the bathroom floor. We got the tile cured yesterday with the thin set, and I went with the charcoal grout. They only had one container, and they only had it pre-mixed, but that definitely saved me some time. So I still got to clean all this with a wet sponge.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know what happened.
And and then it'll have to cure for 7 days. All right, here's the finished tile. I'm still working on making this hole a little bigger in the subfloor there to accept the actual drain line. This has already gotten kind of dirty just from me working in here. I think next Home Depot run I'm going to pick up a little bit of that. I forget what it's called. It's a special kind of like dense cardboard that's used for protecting floors on construction sites. I'm gonna pick up some of that and tape it down so that, you know, if I'm tiling the walls and I drop a tile, I won't break anything or drop a tool or something. But yeah, this is how it turned out. It's not perfect. In hindsight, I wish I had centered the pattern on the drain, and now that I'm pointing it out, you all have to notice that. But other than that not being perfectly centered, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the fit, or those curved tiles. It's not the most perfect floor ever, but I definitely like the look of it with the dark grout, and then I think it's going to look really nice with the green subway tile. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep going on that John. Get it? It's the toilet. Sing it to her.
That's life.